Hi, my name's James and I want to try and show you what I've been working on for the past maybe 2 years now. It's quite detailed and I didn't really think I was ever going to be showing anybody it, so it's really unorganised. And yeah, let's give this a go. Okay, so first of all I thought I'd show you where I started, like really basic. Like three and a half years ago I built this human and I made as a prototype, and I made loads of modular parts for him, and he all falls to pieces. You can swap out the eyes, the hair, the face. He's got different weapons that attach different bones, and it did have materials and textures, but I cleaned up my hard drive last year and moved everything, and so all the textures and stuff are gone. And the next save I was going to show you is the one after that. That's maybe a year after I abandoned that save, and I decided I was going to completely rebuild the same thing from the ground up, except I wanted to put a human skeleton inside of it. So I started and I built the human skeleton, and I then built the skin from head to toe and weight painted it. And I got the proportions wrong, the arms are too long, and yeah, I decided I didn't like it, and I started rebuilding everything again. As you can see in the background there's some spine that I was mapping out, and yeah, no, this was a very messy save. My original idea was to make I put a solidify modifier and basically extruded everything inside to I think it was a centimetre or so, and kept all the vertex weighting, and I split it off, and that was going to be a full body wrap which could then be cut into parts for a mutilation system type thing that I was trying to figure out. And the weight painting isn't really too bad on the shoulders. Yeah, no. So yeah, I built the skeleton inside him, and I lingered way too long in this save. I didn't really know what was going on with it. There were so many different objects that I had to move around. Just like, yeah, I can't believe I used to work this disorganised. Like, this whole folder is terrible. Right, now this is the original. Once I gave up on that lot, I decided I needed to learn a lot about the human body, and I went online. I found everything I needed to know. Mostly from I downloaded all of these 3D meshes from the website which I provided the link for, and then I cross-referenced that with the Biodigital website, which it's an amazing website. It's awesome, and I did so much Google searching through everything, because half of the names were deleted because Blender's naming thing was cut off the end. The names were too long of the .objs, and yeah, it wasn't fun times. I had to go through all of these objects and just to figure out what all the names were. I haven't done that in this save. That's in like 2 to 3 saves time. Yeah, no, you can see where I came from with what I've already shown. You can see the skeleton that I started from, that I've wrapped up and made my own performance render version. There's all the veins and arteries. I still haven't. I don't really know how I'm going to implement them in as a performance friendly thing. They're so detailed. I think something along the lines of creating a basic vein and arterial tree, and then procedurally generating like a 3 vertex cylinder type thing, like just one triangle off in various different ways on a random seed to create this a mesh that goes through everything. The brain's really interesting. I really got into playing around with the brain when I first downloaded it. I didn't realise there was so much inside. Like, you see pictures of the brain and you think, oh, it's a brain, and I mean, I've seen pictures from my own CAT scans of my own brain. Like, I've seen inside it, but I didn't realise that it was just this detailed. Like, there are so many little sinuses and glands and different receptors for different things, and like I've only even like skimmed the surface of it when I was trying to study this. Like, it was too much. I mean, learning about the muscles and the bones and the way they move is one thing, but the brain, that's a bit out of my league for now. Yeah, no. The eye's really cool as well. I think I'll play with it in a minute. The eye's really cool. It's got like all the lenses inside it. It's got your pupil, your like all the way through, and then I think I put the retina, the like all the tendons and the functions of the eye are in the fine detail muscle layer. So I had to split the muscles into layers because there's so much muscles, and like a lot of them are on top of each other. So really, you don't need to load them. They don't need to be there. They like most of the time, it's only if you want to open that body up, they want to be there for realism. So a lot of the muscle structure can be just cut away when you want to render or import it into a game engine, or yeah. You've got the stomach, the pancreas, the spleen, the liver. The liver's cut up into all sections, which most of the parts that were cut up into sections I've put back together in the next stage. Lower intestines, I'm trying to avoid showing things that I might not want to on YouTube. And where do we go now? Such a mess. I really don't want to have to cut this voiceover. Right. So I went through everything and I organised it, and where I could I cut it in half, and so I could put on a mirror modifier and everything's symmetrical and easy. Obviously a lot of stuff, there's a plenty up the centre of your body that isn't symmetrical, like all the stomach and organs, they're not on a mirror. You can't do that. I've not actually merged them back yet. Merge the organs together in those. I'm not sure if I even show it. So yeah, no, you've got every organ. The heart's really interesting. I should have opened it up. It's got all the ventricles inside it and the different muscles that make it pulse. And there's a color inside the brain, but easier to see. It's starting to look like something now, you know. Where do we go now? And this is where I'd had enough. I'd started animating the skeleton, and I'd had enough of it being in this medical pose, because, like, this I've animated the epidermal layer, the skin on top of this already. It's not even sure if it's in this save. It goes on top of the skeleton and it moves with the skeleton. In that pose, it was almost impossible to weight paint the armpits. Like, it wouldn't happen. So yeah, I had to change it. And yeah, wow, I'm not even sure. I normally use that layer as my reject layer, where I dump things that I'm not sure if I should delete or not. I might keep it for later. I'll just throw it in that layer and probably never load it again. Yeah, that's the pose swap. I only did it on one side, and I copied and pasted it across in pose mode by flipping on the x-axis to sort of ensure accuracy. And this is pretty much where I'm at today with this. You've still got the same muscles there, but I'm wrapping them all up. Like I've already done this to the skeleton a while ago. I wrapped it all up so that where this object maybe has some 500, 600 vertices and whatever face count, it's really not animatable. It's all triangulated and pulled in weird ways. If you try to deform that mesh, it's going to go all pointy and odd. So I've rebuilt around it using a shrink wrap modifier, which, I don't know, there's really not much. I googled it a bit. There's people use it, but not. I don't know. You can actually build inside of it. I didn't realize until I started doing this. These, you see, it's plain pectoral, coastal. I can't even read from my screen. It's yeah. What am I even doing? Why? Yeah. So this is on my skeleton still, I think. I think it's now been reduced twice. Most of it's been reduced twice, and I'm working on the second round of reducing the muscles by wrapping them up. So the vertex count's quite low. This would be almost be usable. Now, I took just the skeleton, and I wanted to have a play around with him in a game engine, see what I could do with him, and I was really impressed with the way he imported and the way he looks with just such a simple material and moves. I think the video lags. It is much smoother when I wasn't recording. Where I hit Alt F9, I start recording, and Play in Editor doesn't really. Yeah, things don't really like doing that. I didn't really like the Blender really. Some of the first video exports I did, the back of the Blender screen was flashing. And oh yeah, fun little animation. I liked making this. It was fun. The animation for ripping his arm off. I got a bit too into that. Most of them I haven't. This is all the physics assets here are just straight from the imported things. They're not really set up. Like, I only did it because I wanted to test the pulling off the arm with animation, because it's not. He pulls the arm off, the arm gets removed, and then he equips the arm weapon, and the arm weapon appears in the place where it's attached to. No, I didn't attach it to a socket. I just attached it straight through the bone, so it's a little bit off actually, I think. And yeah, I don't even know. I smashed up loads of these skeletons just because it amused me, and I saw all sorts of strange physics anomalies happening. But funnily enough, the original physics assets for the legs were quite good, but the rest of it seems a bit dodgy. I had a problem with the shadows actually. I'm not sure if I figured that out. If you see his feet keep disappearing and clipping, I don't know the lighting system in Unreal, so can't cover that. Thank you for watching my little disorganized presentation video, and I'll update it with more. I'll be able to make better videos with my current saves, because they're a lot more organized, and there just isn't so much stuff for me to get lost in and confused by when I'm looking at it. So yeah, have a good evening or day or whatever time, I don't know. Peace.